Hi there. My name is George Bruno, known to many as the Sultan of Silver. Welcome to the newest edition of Beards Without Borders. Well, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you spending your time with me. Out of all the things that you could do, you're spending some time with me tonight, and I appreciate it. I'm just hanging out at the tracks. Actually, believe it or not, this is more peaceful than my backyard. There's not as much noise here as there is where I live, and this is only 1.5 miles from where I live. You know, I live 4 miles outside of the city limits of Philadelphia, not to be confused with Center City. Tonight's cigar is a A.J. Fernandez box press New World. You might like this. I tend to like the box pressed, which means they're square. If you take a look at the cross section, take a look at that. See how square it is? It's not round, which means they were pressed inside the box when they were packed. So when I go into Philadelphia, this is where I come. And I'm just a little bit down from the train station. So I just kind of set up my camera, something different. First Beards Without Borders with the new beard style. I hope you like it. I have some really interesting observations I'm going to share in a completely different video. But one of the reasons why I'm shooting this particular video here at the tracks is that when I want to go into Philadelphia, I get on a train that's going into Philadelphia. If I want to go to Chicago, if I want to go to New York, I go somewhere else and get on a different train. Now, most people would say, well, that makes sense, right? Have you figured out where you want to go? Then why are you on the wrong train? Doing the wrong methods? Hanging out with the wrong people? To get to your destination, because now, think about this, 2017 is half over with. Last year, 1 year ago, I was telling people that 2017 is the year that you get unstuck. Getting unstuck doesn't happen all by itself. Getting unstuck is one of those things that happens on purpose. Like, I don't wish myself and hope myself into Philadelphia. I have to do something that gets me in the direction of Philadelphia, and that's get on the train. I've done live Instagram broadcasts from the train before. Many of you have seen that. Remember the little anecdotal story? A traveler said to Socrates, "How do I get to Mount Olympus?" And Socrates said, "Just make sure every step you take is in the direction of Mount Olympus." Now that we are halfway through 2017, are you halfway to your goal? What do you mean you don't know? If you don't know, that means, number one, you either didn't make a goal for yourself, or number two, you didn't set the proper metrics or the signs that let you know you're on the right path. For instance, if I'm in a sales meeting, or in the past when I was in job interviews and I'm done with jobs. I'm done with jobs because I'm done with working for someone else. Now I work for myself, but that did not happen by accident. I will only work from now on under 1099, and for those of you that are not in America, you know that's on my terms where I get paid and I handle my own taxes. I handle my own marketing, my own promotion, and so forth. My employee days are over with because now I am my own employer, I am my own employee. And I remember back in the job interviewing days, one of the best things I used to ask, and I will ask this in a sales meeting if I'm selling somebody or if I'm working on a project, like the TV production project that I was telling you about a month ago. About halfway through, I will have asked the question, how am I doing so far? That's a smart question. And it lets me know if I'm on target. It lets me know if I'm on target. 9 times out of 10, the employer or the hiring manager would say to me, "Oh, you're doing good. You're doing good." When I was being interviewed for the A&E network show that I can't talk about because they liked the beard, they liked my rise and shine videos in the car, they liked my Beards Without Borders, I asked, how am I doing so far? And the producer, the person in charge of casting, which in that world is called a casting director, said to me, "You're doing just fine. I just want to let you know that most of these types of interviews," and it was a Skype interview, last about 20 minutes long. And she says, "If you noticed, we've been on the phone for an hour, or we've been on Skype for an hour and 20 minutes. So I think you're doing pretty good." That was my metric. I needed to know how I was doing so I could adjust on the fly. She was selling my concept. Well, she had the concept. She found me. I didn't find her. Because I positioned myself to be found. I wasn't prospecting. That's why I always say with salespeople, it's better to position yourself rather than prospect. Prospecting can come across like begging, and you are much easier discouraged when you are prospecting. If you position yourself as an expert, people find you. And in 1 year period, my goal was to become the #1 men's grooming stylist in the world, to be recognized worldwide. It's funny, because before I started this video, there's a bike path here, on this side over here, and people park over here. There was a couple riding their bikes right alongside here. The guy stops and says, "You're that guy." I said, "Excuse me?" He goes, "The videos, the beard videos." He goes, "I watch you all the time." And what was funny was, he didn't have a beard. He just watched my videos. I thought that was interesting. A complete stranger. I never met him. He doesn't know me. I don't know him. So I've branded myself. That is not an accident. That's why I say to you, that wasn't the result of me wishing and hoping. I made it to the top in the stylist world, hence the phrase, the Sultan of Silver. Most people who are new to me think that the silver has to do with the gray hair, the gray beard, the gray hair. It has to do with the fact that I worked with women who went silver, who stopped coloring their hair. And I became an expert in that world with helping people transition to a more natural chemical-free lifestyle rather than going in every 6 weeks and getting your roots touched up. That's where the nickname Sultan of Silver came from. That nickname actually came about even before I was totally gray. Interesting, huh? And those that just found me in the past year think it's because of my silver beard, which is now white. It did start out as silver. And my hair, even then, my hair has turned white. So that's kind of interesting. But that's not an accident. That wasn't the result of wishing and hoping. So the Gray Bailey channel is the purpose of the Gray Bailey channel is to help people become naturally beautiful, handsome, and healthy. That's the goal, right from day one. So from here on out, the focus is not on facial hair, although there are 557 videos with huge beard tutorials. 557 videos. So one of the things I want to do now is help people focus on optimum skin care. Things that make your skin glow. Diet, scarring, acne. With women, less makeup, proper makeup, interviewing makeup artists, estheticians, and I don't know how many videos that's going to be. I will exhaust that topic and make a playlist regarding skincare. And my goal for these videos is to educate and inspire. That is it. And make you laugh every now and then. If there's something that I feel is funny, which some people think that my humor is good, some people think it's dry, some people think it's stupid. It's the same way with comedy movies. I enjoy certain people, I enjoy certain comedians, and some I just don't get. So it's the same thing. You attract an audience based upon who you are, based upon the data that you bring about, based upon your education, based upon your inspirational ability. There's a guy that I watch, and right now I'm behind 4,300 emails, not comments, emails of people asking me questions about facial hair. I get back to people as much as I can. That list used to be 300, then it was 600, now it's in the thousands. And that's pretty interesting. I have motivated people to start businesses, and I get emails every day. I would not be doing this if it wasn't for you. And that humbles me, because from an underachiever, a C student, somebody who was part of the army of average, and the only thing that this is a guy that who played sports, but sat on the bench more than he was in the field. This was a guy who had, I like to say that I had no self-esteem. Low self-esteem would have been an improvement. But as I like to say, when the army of average has a fire lit under them, they become unstoppable. Let me say that again. When the army of average has a fire lit under them, they become unstoppable. And that's what I've become. Like a train whose brakes don't work. I'm plowing forward in an ethical way. That's important, that you don't hurt people along the way or use people. Always burn your cigars till there's about an inch ash. That's not quite an inch. You want to keep that heat going, then you can flick it off. So the story of the casting director was this. She said, the network that we're pitching you to sometimes takes forever. She says, but you hang in there, because I really believe we're onto something with you. So last week, I emailed her and I said, I'm really thinking of trimming the beard way back, way back. I said, will that still work in our best interest if you decide to move forward? She says, absolutely. She says, we're interested in you, even though the beard was kind of a, as David Crosby would say, letting your freak flag fly. Because believe me, where I live and the surrounding areas, I'm the only guy with a huge white beard. When it was dark, it was different. When your beard turns salt and pepper and then a little bit gray, that's one thing. But when it turns white, you end up becoming like this guy here. That's kind of like why I'm wearing this shirt. This is actually one of my favorite bands. So, and since I'm out in public right now, there's no adult spirits, so I'm just drinking my water. How's the audio on this? I've got the lapel mic clipped here. Normally this lapel mic was either on my shoulder or underneath my beard. But I'm still the same guy. It's still me. I haven't forgotten you, and you won't forget me. Because my lessons are endearing, and they come from more than a half century of winning, losing, failing, succeeding.